It was midday in the region of Samaria, the sun was high and blazing. The dusty paths were quiet except for the gentle rustle of the wind. Jesus, weary from his journey, sat by a well, Jacob's well. An ancient source of life-giving water that held deep historical significance for the people of that land. His disciples had gone into the nearby city to buy food, leaving him alone. But in reality, Jesus was not waiting for food, he was waiting for a divine appointment. Soon, a woman approached, water jar in hand. She was coming to draw water at an unusual hour. Most women fetched water in the cool of the morning or evening. But this woman came when no one else would be around. Life had dealt her many blows, and she preferred solitude over the whispers and judgmental stares of others. As she neared the well, Jesus spoke to her, "Give me a drink." The woman paused, startled. She recognized him as a Jew, and she was a Samaritan woman. Cultural norms and centuries of tension made such a request unusual. Jews did not associate with Samaritans, and Jewish men rarely spoke directly to women in public. Her voice carried a mix of surprise and caution. "How is it that you, being a Jew, ask me for a drink, since I am a Samaritan woman?" But Jesus, never bound by social barriers, replied with words that would shift her understanding. "If you knew the gift of God, and who it is that says to you, 'Give me a drink,' you would have asked him, and he would have given you living water." Intrigued yet skeptical, the woman questioned him. The well was deep, and he had nothing to draw water with. She reminded him that this was Jacob's well, a precious inheritance from her ancestors. But Jesus was not speaking of ordinary water. He said, "Whoever drinks of this water will thirst again, but whoever drinks of the water that I shall give him will never thirst. The water I give will become in them a fountain of water springing up into everlasting life." Something in his voice stirred a longing in her heart. She asked him to give her this water so she would never thirst again, nor have to return to the well. Then Jesus gently shifted the conversation to the core of her life. "Go, call your husband, and come here." Her answer was brief, "I have no husband." With divine insight, Jesus revealed her truth. "You have said well, I have no husband, for you have had 5 husbands, and the one you now have is not your husband. In that, you have spoken the truth." The woman's eyes widened. How could he know this? He had touched the most guarded and painful corners of her life. In awe, she said, "Sir, I perceive that you are a prophet." They spoke of worship, and Jesus revealed that the time was coming when true worshippers would worship the Father in spirit and truth, for God seeks such to worship him. Finally, when she mentioned the Messiah who was to come, Jesus looked into her eyes and said plainly, "I who speak to you am he." At that moment, her heart ignited with revelation. She had come to draw water but had found the source of eternal life. She left her water jar behind, running back to the city, not caring about the stares, the whispers, or her reputation. She called out to the people, "Come, see a man who told me everything I ever did." Could this be the Christ? Crowds began to gather and make their way to the well to see Jesus for themselves. When the disciples returned with food, they were astonished to find him speaking to a Samaritan woman. But Jesus, filled with joy over the unfolding harvest, told them, "My food is to do the will of him who sent me, and to finish his work." Through one encounter, an entire city was stirred. Lessons from the woman at the well. Jesus breaks barriers. He ignored cultural, social, and gender boundaries to reach one lost soul. God meets us where we are, even in our most avoided places. He seeks us out. Living water is for everyone. His salvation is not limited to the qualified, it is for all who will receive it. Your past does not disqualify you, This woman's testimony brought many to Jesus, proving that God can use anyone. True worship is in spirit and truth. It is not about location or rituals, but about the posture of the heart.